A number of people asked me to review this video of a Russian T-90 tank getting chewed up by a Ukrainian M2A2 Bradley of the 47th Mechanized Brigade Ukrainian Army. There's really not that much to analyze, but there are some key takeaways. Now to start, I'm going to try to recut this for YouTube, but for now it's a Substack exclusive, so thank you so much to all of my Substack subscribers who give me $5 every month. I really appreciate it. Let's watch the video first. So, odds are the vehicle that was doing this firing was an M2A2 ODS Bradley. The U.S. donated this vehicle to Ukraine last year. One of the features of the M2A2 ODS Bradley is a 25mm chain gun, which fires two basic kinds of ammunition: armor-piercing and high-explosive. Armor-piercing is for armored threats. High-explosive is for things like trucks or infantry in the open. Now, supposedly, the 25mm armor-piercing ammunition from the Bradley can go straight through T-55 tanks, and at least that's what Bradley gunners that I personally knew said during the first Gulf War, that their Bradleys were going right through Iraqi T-55s. But that being said, I don't know how effective it is against the T-90, which is arguably one of Russia's most advanced tanks. Now, in this case, well, the display we're seeing here put on by that Bradley is impressive, and kudos to the gunner. The gunner of this Bradley really knows his stuff. Nothing is penetrating that T-90. This is a great show, but the tank does not suffer a catastrophic kill. The crew of the T-90 is doing a great job at keeping most of their front armor toward the direction of fire. Now, on a tank, the front has the most armor, the sides have less armor, the rear, and the top, and the bottom have even less armor. So if you want to keep the front of your tank, and preferably the front of your turret as well, toward the direction of fire. It looks like this is what the Russian crew of that T-90 tank was doing. I don't know whether this was intentional. I don't know whether this was just dumb luck, but it seems like most shots were hitting the front turret or the front armor. Now, when doing anti-tank work, you keep shooting until the tank changes shape or catches fire. One of those two things. That doesn't happen as far as I can see. In this case, the T-90 is shrugging off just about everything that's thrown at it. Now, that doesn't mean that every single sensor on that tank has been destroyed. That doesn't mean that every single vision block on that turret wasn't destroyed. I think this crew is completely blind to the outside world as all of their sensors get chewed up. And I also think that this crew is completely deaf by this point. I can't imagine what it sounds like inside that tank when they're under that kind of 25mm fire. Now watch, the Russian equivalent of the VA is going to send some kind of letter saying that that crew's hearing loss was non-service connected. So one final thing. The video ends right after this explosion. I think that this explosion wasn't a catastrophic kill. It was the defensive smoke grenades cooking off after being damaged, and you can see that from the white trails. Many tanks have smoke grenades which can be activated by a switch in the turret. These smoke grenades will fire and they will mask the tank with both visible smoke and heat energy will be emitted, so that way you can't detect the tank using thermals. So I think that in this case, something hit that smoke grenade launcher and it cooked off the smoke grenades. Then the vehicle cuts out. This is a bit of a cop-out. We don't get to see any BDA or battle damage assessment. So I think whoever was editing this video is like, well, this is an impressive ending. Let's just end it right here. That being said, I don't think this vehicle is catastrophically destroyed, or they would have shown it. I think kind of whoever made this video is trying to play off the smoke grenade as a catastrophic kill. And I think it's certainly possible that the T-72 crew or the T-90 crew may have actually survived. I don't know whether they survived or not, but it's certainly possible that that could have happened. Now, another question people were asking was, why didn't the Bradley use their TOW? The Bradley comes with a very potent anti-tank weapon, the TOW missile. So why wasn't the TOW used in this case? I don't know. I just don't know. The Bradley can't fire the TOW missile while moving, so maybe the Bradley was moving and they didn't want to stop to make a juicy target for that T-90. It's also possible this was a meeting engagement. Now, a meeting engagement is a military term that means kind of two sides unexpectedly collide with each other. And when that happens, it's absolute chaos. An attack, I don't want to say an attack is easy, but during an attack, you know your role and you know the enemy is probably going to defend. If you're in the defense, you know the enemy is going to attack you. But in a meeting engagement, you don't know what the enemy wants to do, and you might not be sure what you want to do because you don't know the composition and disposition of the enemy. You also don't know if there's more enemy on the other side of that hill. So if two forces meet each other, it's really, really difficult to know what to do. Do you withdraw? Do you try to fight through? It's really difficult to know. So this could have been a meeting engagement, and the guys in the Bradley were probably battle carry Sabo, meaning they had Sabo, or the anti-armor, armor-piercing rounds loaded into their 25mm gun. So could just be that when they saw that T-90, they just leaned on the trigger in the same way that you hit the brakes really hard if you notice you're just about to get into a car accident, right? The Bradley TOW launcher takes about 6 seconds or so to fully deploy and lock into place. So while it might have been more rational to deploy the TOW launcher and fire a TOW missile at that T-90, all that Bradley crew is probably thinking about at that moment is that they don't want to die. And so there's probably hand marks in the gunner's controls from that Bradley, from the gunner just gripping those controls so tight, pulling that trigger, just wishing those autocannon rounds would go out faster to just end that threat. So they're just pouring fire onto that T-90. And if they don't kill it, at least they can make it impossible for that enemy vehicle to engage them, so that maybe one of their buddies can actually go in for a TOW shot and to kill. So that's pretty much it. There's no real lessons here other than that 25mm chain gun will chew you up. There are more advanced versions on the horizon with like a 50mm chain gun, and that would definitely ruin the T-90's day. Thank you guys so much for watching.
In a world where fashion meets firepower, where style becomes strategy, it's time to gear up for the ultimate mission with Bunker Branding. Introducing the Rock Out With Your Chalk Out t-shirt, a tribute to the fearless air cavalry. Feel the adrenaline rush as you don the pride of the skies. For those of you who dare from the air, precision and power unite when you think outside the bomb. And don't miss our Live, Laugh, Launch t-shirts for Patriot and HIMARS, because sometimes defending freedom means bringing the thunder. Finally, for the true defender of the seas, we present Department of the Boat People. Sail with honor and show your allegiance to the world's mightiest maritime force. With these shirts, hoodies, and stickers, along with the TOW missile, landmines, and drone warfare. These aren't just shirts, they're statements. They're your way of saying I stand for strength, unity, and style. Get yours at Bunker Branding today.